What's up, guys? We are live here breaking down UFC Vegas 11 live. As always, if you guys can hit the like button, subscribe if you have not yet, would really appreciate that a ton. If you guys have any questions throughout the live stream, make sure you ask them. Try to stick with the fight we're talking about currently. My mic has been acting up lately. If my mic is scratching too much, let me know. I will go to my computer microphone, but my new microphone should be here sometime on Saturday, so should be good to go there. But if my microphone sucks today, let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat, and I will definitely take it off of there. What's up, guys? What's up, Enrad? What's up, Sports Dude? What's up, Sosa? What's up, Brandon? How's it going, guys? Very good card here. Very good card. 14 fights on this card, and surprisingly, everybody made weight. And no fights are off. So awesome to see there. Love that this card has so many fights, different ways you can win here. Exactly. So many different fights. Lots of betting action for me. I have 3 bets so far, but there's a lot of stuff I'm looking at. We'll talk about it all on this video and more. Nico looked huge. Yes, he did. What's up, Thomas? What's up, Andy? What's up, Jesper? What's up, Wesley? Thank you all for hanging out. With that said, why not get into the card here with the first fight of the night? And we have Tyson versus Jerome Rivera. And this is a fight that Nam should win. I'm not all that impressed with Jerome Rivera. He's going to come out here and try to get takedowns most likely. I don't think he wants to stand and bang with Nam. Maybe he does. But the thing with betting Nam is it's a good chance he's going to get out volume. There's a good chance that if he doesn't land that knockout punch, he's going to lose. So minus 170 is something I'm not interested in. I see a lot of people betting Nam, and he should win. He's the better fighter. It's just he's so low output, very low output. So I'm going to stay away from a betting perspective on Draftkings. We know it by now. The first fight of the night, crazy things happen. I mean, last week, Mazo was losing the round 1 and round 2, ended up getting a late finish in the third, and DraftKings counted every single strike for her. She scored like 120. I don't know how, but she did it. It's that first fight of the night, I'm telling you guys. So if Nam wins, it's probably going to be a knockout, 8,600. If it's early in that first round, very good chance he ends up on the optimal lineup. If it's in that second round, it could get a little bit iffy on that, on a 14-fight slate, but Nam is somebody I'm definitely looking at. And Rivera, he has a path to victory, and that is, getting takedowns. But the problem is Nam has very good takedown defense. Has never been taken down in the UFC, or Rivera can even outland him. He's not going to go out there and finish Nam or nothing like that. But a fight I'm going to target, but a little hesitant because I know that if Nam does not get the knockout, and if it's not early, Nam is probably going to bust. So not a fight I'm all that interested in, but first fight of the night, there's a decent chance just because of this first fight of the night, it's somehow going to end up on the optimal lineup. So Nam is plus 135 by knockout. If I was to bet it, I'd probably take the plus 135 prop there. Rivera would probably be a decision, plus 305. But most likely going to stay away from this from a betting perspective. I have 3 bets we'll talk about throughout the card here. And make sure you guys follow my social media. Twitter is DFS_numbers, and Instagram is DFS by the numbers. I'll be posting my bets sometime tomorrow. And there's a lot of spots I'm looking at. This is going to be a big card for me. Last week, only had 2 bets. They both hit, had 2-leg parlays. Jalen Turner, Bobby Green, and then Barberena and Quarantillo. So a nice sweep there, but lots of action for me this week. Laramie is 9,200. Yeah, it's quite a bit there. Tyson is overrated. I'd say so. I think he's more of a, if he doesn't get that knockout, he's going to lose. So I don't know. Rivera seems super chinny, does not move his head at all. He is definitely there to be hit. He leaves a lot of openings on defense. That's why I'm leaning towards Nam does get that KO. Nam isn't getting a KO in the first round. If you don't think so, then probably should stay away from DraftKings. Non-parlay piece, personally, not for me, but, I think he should win. Nam isn't going to do anything. What does salary mean, the payment? This is for, like, DraftKings or FanDuel salary if you're building lineups. What's up, Dave? Rivera literally lost his Contender Series fight. Yes, he did. He did lose it, but they gave him the win there. Finally, a good card. You're right. I really like this card. The main card is absolutely fantastic. And of course, we have a great card next week as well. What's up, the Hitman? All right, so not all that interested in this fight, but I will be playing some because of the first fight of the night and because Nam doesn't have that knockout power. But getting to this next fight, and Laramie is a parlay piece of mine. I have a 2-leg parlay that I'll talk about. This is the first leg. I got Laramie about, I think, like minus 300. He's now minus 305, and I really like this guy. I really like this matchup for him. It kind of reminds me of the fight last week, Quarantino Nelson, where Nelson is first round knockout or bust, and Minner is first round submission or bust. And I really like Laramie. He can get takedowns. He's better on the feet here. He can stay out of trouble. He has some pretty solid submission defense as well. He's still very young, though. I think he's like 22 years old, but he should definitely get this win. He's the much better fighter, and it's not even close. I'm not high on Derrick Minner whatsoever. He's a first-round guy or bust. So Laramie, I do have him in a 2-leg parlay with someone else we'll talk about. But on DraftKings, 9,200. I think it's safe to say that if Laramie wins, it's probably going to be by a finish here. Minner's been submitted 6 times. Minner's lost by knockout twice. If Laramie can survive that first round, he's probably going to get like a second-round finish. So Laramie at 9,200, it's a nice way to differentiate yourself from the big chalk of Chimaev, the big chalk of Colby Covington, or maybe even play a couple in the same lineup there. So as for Minner on DraftKings at 7,000, it's very interesting because he does have first-round finish potential, and that's kind of what you want in a punt. So I will have not a lot of this fight, but I'll have a decent amount of the fight because I do think Laramie has the potential to score very, very high with the wrestling, with the advances. I think he's the much better fighter and most likely getting a finish here. So Laramie is somebody I like. I have him in a parlay. Minus 125 inside the distance, a very nice line there. Plus 450 by submission, again, is a very nice line there. So I really like Laramie this week, one of my most confident plays, but we do have to be concerned about the first round like we were with Kyle Nelson last week. So really looking forward to his UFC debut. Like I said, I'm not high on Minner, not the best fighter in the world, but he is scrappy. He could very well go out there and get a first round finish. I just don't see it. I think Laramie is going to be able to stay out of trouble and not get submitted, and that's Minner's only path to victory. Bet TJ after the first round. You could. A lot of people are saying that, but I think Laramie's going to win that first round, actually. But as long as he does not get finished, he's going to win that first round, I think. You should go over 1.5 if you think TJ will get this. Yeah, I could see that, or I could see Minner either getting finished in the late first or in the early second. His cardio is not the best whatsoever. Any concern with the age? Only 22. Yeah, I mentioned that a little bit. He's very, very young, and that is a little bit concerning, but he is the much better fighter here. Don't say that. He could be. I mean, he has potential. What's up, Scott? Laramie live is a good bet. He might lose the first round. Yeah, he might. Minner's going to come out there, going 120% trying to get the finish. But I do think Laramie's probably going to win that first round regardless. What about Covington versus Tyron? We are not even close. We have like 13 fights to go. Mic stat. Okay, I'm going to go to my other mic here. Thank you guys for letting me know. All right, can you guys hear me? Is it better? Let me know if you guys can hear me. Like I said, my new mic is coming in tomorrow. My old mic sucks. They won't replace it. It's been like a month and a half. So hopefully I get that new mic and everything should be better next week. Is the mic better yet? All right. Yo, Brady. Love your stuff. Got a DK strategy question for you if you don't mind. Should I leave a bunch of money on the table and DK 20 max to get unique in some lineups? Yeah, I think you can, especially on a 14-fight slate. You're going to have to be a little different. You can definitely leave salary on the table. I think there's a decent amount of underdogs that have a chance. Did you get the Guru mic? No, I forget which mic I got, but it's a pretty good one. It's gonna be better than the one I have now that scratches. I don't know why it does that, but it's a little bit less than a year old. All right, it's good now. Thank you guys for letting me know. I was worried about that. It's been acting up. I don't know why, but all right. So getting into the next fight here. Like I said, I have Laramie in a parlay piece. Andre Ewell versus Erwin Rivera, and I have a bet on Ewell, a pretty sizable bet, a 2-unit bet. I got it at minus 185 though. I got it earlier in the week, and it's minus 220 now, which I kind of expected, but I didn't expect it to get this wide. And honestly, I'd still bet it all the way up to like minus 230. I really like this fight for Ewell. A lot of people are high on Rivera, and I don't know why. I think it's because he's tough and people like that. But guess who else was tough? Brock Weaver, and how'd that work out for him? But no, in all seriousness, Ewell should win this fight. He's going to have like an 8-inch reach advantage. He's been improving his ground game. The one way you beat Ewell is taking him down and possibly getting a submission. That's not something Erwin Rivera does. Maybe he takes him down, but I don't see him doing much with that takedown. I think Ewell probably has the better, submission game than Rivera at this point. But Ewell's going to use that range, that length. I think it's going to look kind of like the Giga Chikadze fight where Chikadze was able to stay on the outside. I think it's going to look like a lot like that. And I think Ewell's better than Chikadze. I don't think Chikadze is the best fighter in the world. And if Rivera would have came out there and took down Chikadze, I would have definitely given him a better shot here, but he didn't. And that's the one path to victory, to beat a guy like Chikadze or even outlanding him. And Rivera is so low volume, and Ewell's not. The only thing I'm worried about is the cardio of Ewell. So in the third round, it could be kind of close. But even then, I think he's going to win all 3 rounds, or I like it quite a bit. I don't see a finish here. Erwin Rivera is very tough. He's been knocked out twice. I don't think Rivera has that power to knock out Ewell. Ewell's, pretty durable. But give me Ewell. I got it at minus 185. I like that price quite a bit. I think he's a parlay piece at minus 220. I'm going to be doing a Hail Mary parlay this week with all the favorites here. Not all the favorites, but a lot of the favorites here. And Ewell's definitely going to be in that Hail Mary parlay. Really like Ewell. As for DraftKings, though, is a different story. I don't see a finish. I can see Ewell maybe landing 100 strikes, something like that, 100 strikes, 110. He's not going to go for takedowns. It's going to stay standing. Probably just going to not play much of this fight on DraftKings. I don't see I don't see Ewell getting a finish. I don't see Rivera getting a finish. I'd rather play the guys up in the 9Ks, and there's other guys we'll talk about. So not a fight I'm interested in on DraftKings, but I do have a 2-unit bet on Andre Ewell there, and I like it quite a bit. Rivera looked jack, but the length advantage is, wow, 8 inches is a ton. 8 inches is a ton. Coming in loud and clear in Rio de Janeiro. Sweet. Sounds good to me. Rivera is way better than Weaver. Everybody is way better than Weaver, but yeah, I see what you're saying. Randy Costa is round 1 plus 500. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it next. What do you think about Ewell by decision minus 120? I think Rivera is very tough. Yeah, if you do want to bet Ewell by decision, I think that's fine. Don't really see him getting a finish. Although he's going to try for that finish, but I don't know if he's going to get that. Rivera hit takedowns his last fight. That's how he won. I actually thought he did not win that fight. I thought it was really close. I thought Al-Kaisi actually beat him, but regardless, it was close, and it shouldn't have been close with a guy like Al-Kaisi. I think Ewell is, way better than Al-Kaisi, which is a very, very concerning there. Yeah, Ewell by decision is fine. Ewell is a long-rangey guy, and Rivera won't be able to deal with that. Rivera isn't much of a grappler. Ewell is better everywhere. Yes, Ewell's better everywhere. And that's why I bet it early. I looked at the line. I thought it was way off. Ewell minus 185 against Rivera. I thought it was off. I went to the tape early, and I liked what I saw. 8 inches is a lot. Trust me. I trust you there. It is a lot. He's going to have a big reach advantage. Everyone, exactly. Should we fade this fight in DraftKings? I'm going to have very little of this fight. I don't think it's going to have much ownership either way. So if you do want to get kind of different, maybe play a Ewell. Maybe he gets a finish, but other than that, probably not going to go there all that much. Loving the content, bro. Why do you think Costa has been upping in price so drastically last week? I still see him as the likely winner. We'll talk about it real soon here. Shanna Dobson is better than Brock Weaver. It's close. It is close. All right. Here we go. Next fight. And this is my pick for potential fight of the night, and on a card with so many fun fights, the co-main event, the main event, I think this has potential to be a type of fight of the night. This could be definitely have potential here, and it's because the style that Randy Costa brings, and he's someone who goes out there with no regards to any defense. He does whatever he wants. He tries to get the finish very early. And that's why I'm looking at a potential bet here. And make sure you guys tune into my Twitter. Make sure you guys tune into the betting breakdown video tomorrow, because this is something I most likely will bet. I'm going to look into it a little bit more, but I'm kind of certain in this bet. And that is the under 1.5 at plus 105, plus money there. And I'll tell you why, because watching Costa, he comes out there and he tries to get the finish. If he does not get the finish, he's going to be very tired. We saw it in the fight with Brandon Davis. He was not able to get that first round finish, and he got finished early in the second round. And Newson is definitely capable of getting the finish there. So Costa, I'm picking him to win, and a lot of people are going to disagree, and I can understand why. Newson's going to have a lot more path to victory with the takedowns, with the submission game. He's not really a takedown guy. But in this fight, it could work well for him. But Costa's somebody who's been making improvements. He hits like an absolute truck. He has the death touch, it looks like. He touches guys and they go down. I know he's only like 5-1, not the most experienced, but he's improving each and every fight. Hasn't fought in a while, so I'm assuming there's going to be some decent improvements made from Costa. And I see him knocking out Newson. Newson's been knocked out once. I've seen him rock before as well. I think he's going to end this fight early in that first round. If it gets out of the first round, he's going to lose. I'll tell you guys right now. If it gets out of the first round, he's going to lose. Minus 285, fight doesn't go to decision. I like that as a parlay piece. And I'm looking at a potential parlay with this fight doesn't go to decision, and maybe another fight doesn't go to decision up in the main card. But this fight is safe to say it should finish. Newson's lost by decision once. He's lost by knockout once. Costa's lost by submission in his only loss. And Newson by submission is plus 525. I think Costa's very tough. I think if he did lose, it might be by submission. That's not a bad line. Costa by knockout plus 290. But ultimately, Costa in the first round is something to look at if you want to go that way. But the under 1.5 is something I'm looking at. Costa's never been past that 1.5 mark. I think he's been to the second round one time, and in that second round, he got finished very early. So the pace he brings, he doesn't have the gas to go into that late second round, third round. No way. Not with the pace he brings. So especially in the small cage too, like I have a very hard time seeing that this fight goes past that 1.5 mark. But give me Costa. And this is a fight I'm going to have probably the second or third most exposure. 7,800 for Costa, and Newson is 8,400. So, if either guy wins, I think it's going to be a finish. And at those prices, it's a pretty good chance they're going to end up in the optimal lineup. So that's something I'm really looking at on Draftkings. Going to be one of my highest owned fights. I like Costa as an underdog. Costa is first, or Newson after that. Most probably, yeah, I agreed there. I'm liking Costa as a dog. Boston Salem isn't that good. You're right, but still, he was able to go out there and knock him out. Hits very, very hard. If Newson's not ready in that first round, Costa's definitely going to knock him out. Newson's like 5'5". Yeah, Costa's going to be the bigger guy in there for sure. Costa looks stiff when he fights, worries me. Yeah, he does look a little different in there, but he packs a ton of power. This fight is similar to Yoel Rivera. Yeah, in what way? I mean, I don't know. Costa's wild style leaves him into getting hit for sure. He doesn't seem to take shots well. I don't know. I like Newson. Fair enough. Yeah. Newson definitely has passed the victory, especially if he gets this to the ground. That's how you are going to exploit a guy like Randy Costa, but he has been making those improvements. His takedown defense has been looking better. 100% last week and one wrong on the Hail Mary parlay. Insane. Maybe live bet situation for Newson. Yeah. If he makes it out of the first round, live bet, yeah. 100% ownership. I don't know if I'm going to go 100%, especially in the 150 max, because anything can happen, but maybe like 45-40 in favor of Costa just because of the price difference. And there's some underdogs, but there's not too many underdogs I'm all that interested in. And Costa is probably my favorite underdog to play on DraftKings, or one of the favorites. Costa as the dog, easy money. I wouldn't say easy money, but I wouldn't bet it myself. I'm more looking at the under 1.5 because both guys have a chance to get a finish under that 1.5 mark. So plus money, something I'm looking at there. You're not worried about Newson being the better BJJ player, and Newson has KO power too. Yeah, you're exactly right. He does have the better BJJ. If he can get it to the mat, he's very live for a submission, especially if it's past that first round and Costa's tired. All right, so we're going to get Nam and Newson parlay. I'm not going to parlay either of them personally, but I think Nam should get it done. Newson, I would be holding my breath the whole fight because Costa's going to bring it there. All right. So thank you all for hanging out. 205 people in the chat here. If you guys can all hit the like button, if you can all hit the subscribe button, would really appreciate that. Working my way up to 7,000 subs. I think we're at like 6,400. So let's keep it rolling. Let's keep it rolling. Would love to get 10K in the near future. That would be an amazing milestone. All right. So since we have 14 fights on this card, there's going to be some fights I just kind of skip around on, and not skip around, but not go into much detail, and this is one of them. I'm not overly interested in this fight. Jessica Rose Clark, Sarah Alpar. Clark is minus 215. Alpar is plus 195. I'm going Alpar here, and I'll tell you why. Because I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be a very, very close fight, and she has a path to victory, and that is getting takedowns. We've seen Rose Clark taken down before, and Alpar's not the best striker. She's kind of like a brawler, doesn't have the best technique. I think Rose Clark on the feet she's going to win it all day, but I think it could be close, with that brawling style of Alpar. But the takedowns is really where I think she can win this fight. Maybe getting takedowns, getting some top control. Don't really think there's going to be a finish in this fight. So I'm picking Alpar to win a very close split decision, maybe an ugly split decision as well. Just wouldn't bet Rose Clark at minus 215. Wouldn't do it. I think this fight's a little bit closer than the line does indicate, because Alpar does have a path to victory. I actually think she has some pretty solid wrestling. So give me Alpar for the win. Not going to bet it whatsoever. I'm staying away from this fight. Plus 240 fight doesn't go to decision. This is going to go to decision. Rose Clark by decision, minus 125. I just don't like anything in this fight. And as for DraftKings, maybe some Alpar because she does have wrestling potential, maybe some advances. If she does get a win here, maybe she could score decent. Rose Clark at 8,900. No way. No way I'm playing that. No way. So stay away fight for me for the most part, but I'm slightly leaning Sarah Alpar with the underdog here. And the popular pick is going to be Rose Clark, of course, the better looking fighter by a ton. Everybody likes those better looking fighters in there. But I'm going to take Alpar. I think she has a path to victory, and I think she's going to win there, but not confident in it. And how could you be confident in this fight? Brady's NFL DFS is on point. Thank you so much. Man, women's MMA, Avila killed my parlays last week. Yeah, I said last week that line was way off for Eubanks. It was way off. And Andrea Lee lost as well. I hope a lot of people did not parlay her as well. Can't do women's MMA. No, not in this fight as well. It's just not a fight you want to go out there and put your money on. Alpar looked a little soft at weigh-ins. Yes, she did. She's a little bit bigger, but she's powerful and she has good wrestling. I don't know. I got Rose Clark in a bet. I was hedging Alpar for profit. I just wouldn't bet it either way, honestly. I'm not confident either. Sihara Eubanks all day. Yeah, people sleep on her, and she's another big underdog. I think she fights next week, and she's another big underdog. So I don't know. People keep sleeping on her. She looked good. Her cardio looked good. I've been telling you guys she's been working on her cardio, and she was able to win that third round. So good for her. Zeke or Henry and Cash. Oops, wrong sport. I'm probably going Henry there, by the way, but yep, the wrong sport there. Can't go back to women's MMA. Hill was the last straw. I thought Hill got it done. Let me know who you guys had winning in that fight. I thought it was very, very close. I thought Hill won the first two. I thought Watterson won the second two, the rounds 3 and 4. And I thought Hill barely won that round 5 especially with the flurry at the end. I believe she outlanded Watterson as well, landed the harder shots in that 5th round. But man, They gave it to Watterson, and understandable. I was kind of expecting that going in. I'm glad I didn't bet it either way. I would have probably been very upset, but can't complain. It was a very, very close fight. Does Alpar get it to the ground? Yes, she does. And if she wants to win this fight, she will get it to the ground. You took Eubanks. Congrats. She was a big underdog for no reason, really. Especially in women's MMA, a lot of these lines are off. Like the Andrea Lee, she was like minus 300. Not good. Not good. All right, guys, getting into the next fight here. And we have Jourdain Espinosa versus David Dvorak. This is a very tough fight to call. And it's a pick 'em, minus 105 each way. I don't know. Dvorak's on like a 14-fight win streak, something like that. I actually like this guy quite a bit. Very talented, good striker, good submission game as well. Espinosa, not all high on the guy, but he's powerful, he's long, he's lengthy. I think he could give Dvorak some problems. He's a good wrestler as well. But if he does shoot on Dvorak, I think he's probably going to get submitted. It tends to happen, quite a bit. He's been submitted 4 times. I just think the more past the victory is with Dvorak, I think the striking's actually pretty close. I give the submission advantage to Dvorak because Espinosa leaves so many openings, and I could definitely see in a potential Dvorak submission if Espinosa does make a mistake. But on the feet, it's going to be close. It's going to be very close, and that's why we see it kind of here at a pick 'em at minus 105. I'm going to stay away. I'm going to slightly lean Dvorak. I think he's a slightly better fighter. But Espinosa's no slouch as well. I think it's very, very close in skill. But Espinosa is someone who does slow down at the end of the fight, and Dvorak's not going to slow down. Espinosa is kind of on the chinny side. Dvorak's never been finished either way in a decent amount of fights. I just think the more past the victory, the more ways to win is in Dvorak's favor. So give me Dvorak. I'm going to pick him to win by decision there, but I guess it's kind of interesting. The plus 175 fight doesn't go to decision because Espinosa does have some good power, although Dvorak's never been finished, and Espinosa has been submitted 4 times. But I'm just gonna stay away from a betting perspective. Dvorak by submission plus 535. If there is a finish, it's probably that submission there. So plus 535 is a decent line. Other than that, not too interested as a whole in this fight from a betting perspective. As for DraftKings, Espinosa put up a decent score last time, but that was against Mark De La Rosa. Honestly, don't see much stuff on the ground here, unless Espinosa does try to take Dvorak down, which I wouldn't recommend, but maybe he does. But if it's mostly striking, I can definitely see a scenario where one gets over like 100 significant strikes. And at this 8,200 price, you're probably going to have to play it in a decent amount of lineups, and that's where I'm going to go. It should be a high-volume fight here. I'm not going to go overly crazy on it, though. On a 14-fight slate, I know it's mostly important a lot of weeks to get this 8,200 matchup into your lineups on DraftKings, but this week I'm not going to prioritize it. So I'm going to have a solid amount, but I'm not going to go too crazy on it. Don't really see a finish here unless there's like a Dvorak submission. Maybe Espinosa catches him, but Dvorak's pretty tough, pretty durable. All right. I took Dvorak minus 115 and immediately believe this is a trap bet line, but Espinosa's last victory was De La Rosa. Come on, De La Rosa. Yeah, very true. Taking Dvorak, heavy Espinosa, getting steam for beating De La Rosa, who looked like a bum. Yeah, De La Rosa is not that good. Haven't got too much on Dvorak and Espinosa. Tricky passing. Yeah, it's a very tough fight to call. Minus 105 each way at this point. This guy is on an awesome stream with usually 3 other people. Yeah, I'm going to be on there tonight as well on Odds HQ. If you guys want to check that out as well. Appreciate that, Sloppy Seconds. Nice name there. Can Stewart upset Holland? We'll talk about that really soon here. Nuggets or Lakers. But the thing is, I think the Lakers have lost their first game in each series in the playoffs. So I don't know. It could be a spot for the Nuggets, but I think the Lakers should get it done. All right. Getting into the next fight here. So not all that interested in from a betting perspective on that Espinosa-Dvorak fight. And make sure you guys check in that betting breakdown video on Saturday. It's been absolutely on point. I've been passing on the right fights. I've been giving out the right reads. I've been calling, which fights are going to end by what, and like by a knockout or by a submission. I've been pretty hot. So make sure you guys check out those. And there are going to be some bets added for sure. I have 3 bets right now in total. I'm going to have probably 5 or 6 bets by the time the fights start. There's a lot of spots I'm definitely looking at. And this next fight is something I'm potentially looking at. And I know it's women's MMA, but Mayra Bueno Silva versus Mayra Romero Borella. 2 very tough names to say back-to-back. But I really like Silva in this matchup. I don't know. Borella could maybe win a decision with takedowns on the feet. It could be close. Borella is, I don't want to say the better striker, but it's pretty close, actually. But Silva does leave a lot of openings on defense, as does Borella. And Borella has no chin. She's been knocked out 3 times, and Silva hits hard. And Silva is very, very good at submissions as well. We'll take a look at the finish stats for Silva. 84% finish rate, 67% submission rate for Silva. And I have a feeling this ends up on the ground, and I don't know why, but I'm kind of sensing a armbar from guard. I'm kind of sensing it. I feel like Borella is going to take down Silva, and she's going to get armbarred or something like that. That's what happened in the Courtney Casey fight. Borella took down Casey, and she got submitted like in a minute or something like that. Just don't think Borella's that great. I think she's one of the worst women's MMA fighters in the UFC. It's pretty close between her, Dobson, and Hannah Cyphers. So Silva, she should win this fight, and I'm liking the Silva plus 145 inside the distance. I have not bet it yet, but it's something I'm looking at. Minus 145. If fight doesn't get to decision, I probably just would bet that plus 145 by Silva inside the distance there. I wouldn't really touch the KO prop. I wouldn't touch the submission prop because she could do both here. And Borella's been finished in half of her losses, and Silva's a beast. But women's MMA, so anything can happen. So next thing you know, Borella's probably going to win by a neck crank or a toe hold or something crazy like that. Borella probably gets a knockout. But in all seriousness, like, Silva should win this fight. I think she's the much better fighter. I think she's an animal in there. And Borella is 1-4 in her last 5 fights. So give me Silva to win. I don't know if I'd parlay it. I've been staying away from the women's MMA and the parlays, and it's been working out. I've been saving a ton of money, just leaving them out of the parlay. So probably just going to leave it out of the parlay there. But the plus 145 is intriguing because I do think she can win by knockout. She can win by submission. Great submission artist. And this fight probably touches the mat. On DraftKings, 9,000. I think it's a nice leverage play. Nobody's going to play Mayra Bueno Silva in this matchup, especially at 9,000 when you have Chimaev, when you have Colby Covington, when you have Laramie. She's going to be very underlooked. And for that reason, I will have some of Bueno Silva because the path to victory is there. And it seems like, every other week you see some weird play end up on the optimal lineup, like Sabina Maza last week on the optimal lineup. Nobody expected her at 9,200 to score like 125 points, get her first finish, get her first submission win, Kish's first submission loss and finish loss. But yeah, Silva is interesting on DraftKings. It seems like in the women's MMA for Fight Metric, they count every single significant strike. Sometimes I feel like they double their significant strikes. They make sure they count every single point. I don't know what it is, but the path to victory is there for her to end up on the optimal lineup. And for that reason, I will have some Silva. As for Borella, I guess, I think she has a path to victory, and that's getting takedowns, staying safe, staying out of trouble, outlanding on the feet. But it's just hard to see her winning this fight, honestly. Who do you parlay? I probably wouldn't parlay this, but the way she subbed Jillian Robinson was crazy. And Jillian Robinson has a very, very good submission game as well. Borella is going to go for the takedown. I believe so as well. Borella promises to comb her hair if she wins. Really? Bueno Silva by KO. I think so. I think Borella is very, very chinny. But I think she's also live for the submission. So I might as well just bet. The inside the distance. I haven't done it yet, but it's something I'm really looking at. I'll let you guys know. Make sure you guys, follow me on Twitter, DFS_numbers. It's a potential bet. But I'm kind of hesitant because Women's MMA, it seems like whatever you expect to happen, the opposite happens as of late. So I don't know. No fear of women's MMA. Silva is a lock. Big bet on this one. Wow. I mean, good luck. Good luck. It's tough to be overly confident, but I see what you're saying. She should win this fight. Just not high on Borella whatsoever. What does inside the distance mean? It's the fight does not go to decision. The fight ends in round 1, 2, or 3. That hurts. Maza by decision. Yeah. Crazy. Very crazy there. Yeah. I thought it was going to decision. There's like a minute left. Head kick that landed 20 times. Kish could not figure it out. She could not figure out that the head kick was coming because it came 20 times before. Got rocked, got submitted for the first time in her career. It happens. It happens. All right, getting into the next fight. And we have Mirsad Bektic versus Damon Jackson. And I'll be honest, I have not got into the tape of Damon Jackson yet. I will be doing that tonight, and I'll kind of touch on it on my betting breakdown video tomorrow. But I'm high on Bektic. I know he had a lot of hype coming in. He has been knocked out twice. He's lost by decision. I think he's a good fighter, though. That chin is a little bit worrisome, but he has very good takedowns. And I don't know. I haven't looked into this Jackson guy. I want to see, what he's all about. 6,700. If he's maybe a knockout threat, if he has some power, I think it'd be worth maybe playing some Jackson. But I haven't been able to look into it on a 14-fight slate. I've been busy with NFL and stuff. Busy with some other things going on. So I'll definitely be watching some tape on that tonight. Maybe, even after this live stream. So I'm ready for my next live stream. I'll talk about it there. But Bektic minus 365. I don't know if I parlay it yet. I don't know. I'm still going to look into Jackson, but minus 365. I don't know. By finish, plus 175. By decision, plus 110. Bektic has a 70% finish rate, 45% by knockout, 25% by submission. And Bektic is really good at takedowns. 9,500 though. I don't know. I'd rather play Chimaev. I'd rather play Colby Covington. You'd be getting pretty different if you did go with Bektic. But I'm assuming you should get the win here. He's a pretty big favorite. And I actually think he's a pretty solid fighter. Just that chin kind of worries me. Very good wrestling, very good takedowns. So I don't know. Probably not going to have much Bektic at 9,500 though. Maybe in a Hail Mary parlay as well. But not overly interested in this fight from a betting perspective as of yet. Maybe something comes up. We still don't have the KO props. We still don't have the submission props. And it sucks. They're taking their time now that NFL's back to get these props out there, because I would have liked to see the Turner submission prop for last week. Because I said it on the betting breakdown, like if Turner gets this to the ground, Weaver's getting submitted, and that's just what happened. I think it was probably ended at plus 1,000 something crazy like that. So I would like for them to get the props out a little bit earlier on these fights that are getting added. But Bektic, most likely should get this done, probably by decision. What's up, Scott? Thank you for the donation there. Really appreciate that a ton. 9,500 is a lot. Yep. Jackson's UFC debut, 17-3, 13-1 by sub, 47 May, 32 years old. And, kind of what we've been seeing lately, like these UFC newcomers that are coming in on short notice, they are putting, all caution to the wind. Like we saw Kroom last week, and they're going out there, and I don't know. It's sketchy. It's very sketchy. A lot of these fights that are happening later, they've been very, very sketchy lately. Take a shot on Jackson, guys. Yeah, I see a lot of people, taking a shot on Jackson. I feel like the line, might be off because Bektic, is a little bit shinny, kind of a busted prospect in a way, but I still think he's a pretty solid fighter. Faye Bektic at that line, minus 365. Yeah, they're taking a long time for these props. I wish people could, kind of do their job and get them out a little bit earlier. Jackson isn't bad. He got KO'd bad in the PFL. Yeah, I'll have to definitely look into the tape. Really looking forward to looking into Jackson. Maybe it could be a potential underdog spot on Draftkings at 6,700 because Bektic has been knocked out twice. So we'll have to see here. But getting into the next fight, and we have the other leg to my parlay. And I have TJ Laramie and Kevin Holland parlay. I think I got it at minus 117. And I have 2.2 units on that parlay, something like that. And I typically wouldn't bet a guy like Holland, and last week I typically wouldn't bet a guy like Bobby Green, someone who tends to mess around in there a little bit too much for my liking. But this is just a really good spot for him. And I always hate on the IQ of Kevin Holland, but it has been getting a little bit better. I thought he could have finished Joaquin Buckley a lot earlier in their last fight. I thought he could have taken him to the ground a little bit more. He's someone who goes out there and wants to grapple with Gerald Mirsad. He's someone who, goes to very close split decisions with, Di Chirico in a very low volume fight. I mean, he just seems to fight, to the level of his opponent. And I don't know. But this is a matchup where I really like him to win. He's going to have a pretty solid reach advantage. I think something like 5 inches, 6 inches, something like that. Going to be the lengthier fighter in there by a decent margin. And how do you beat Darren Stewart? And that is taking him to the ground. Awful takedown defense, submitting him, awful submission game. And we were able to see it against Bartosz Fabinski. He took down Stewart and held him down for like 15 minutes. But Holland, it doesn't seem like he's been doing that lately. I think he could, but he hasn't. Maybe it's because of that shoulder injury. He has like 1 takedown in his last 4 fights. The easy path to victory here would be Holland taking down Stewart and submitting him. It's just whatever you expect Holland to do, he does the absolute opposite. If we knew Holland was going to come in here and go for takedowns, get that submission, he'd be minus 400. If Holland had good IQ, he'd be minus 400. So that's all built into the line here. That IQ is built into the line. And Darren Stewart's path to victory is getting a knockout. And Holland is extremely durable. Holland's the better fighter here. I'm not, overly high on Stewart. I don't think he's awful, but I think Holland's the way better fighter. If he fights any type of smart here, he's going to get this win. And I just find it hard seeing a path to victory for Stewart besides getting the knockout. And I think that's a long shot itself. So Holland and Laramie, I'm pretty comfortable in that parlay. And I might even have a different parlay by tomorrow. I like, parlaying, one of these fight doesn't go to decision lines, with the Costa and the Newson. I think that's going into the distance. I might parlay another one of those fight doesn't go to decision lines because there's another fight I think that is most likely to end inside the distance. But that's a decent parlay there, another 2-legger. I'm not a big parlay guy. I'm not going to come in here and do like a 5-leg, 6-leg parlay and put a bunch on it. I know a lot of people like parlays, but they, most of the time, 90% of the time, most likely, 95% of the time, they don't work out. We saw last week, a lot of big favorites lost last week. I was very, I don't want to say lucky. I was very lucky to, survive with my two-leg parlays, but I really like those spots. And if I like 2 guys a ton, I'll put them in a parlay at times, but you won't see me going out there and doing like a 4-leg parlay, a 5-leg parlay. So I think it's pretty safe. The only thing I'd worry about would be Laramie losing by submission in that first round. If you want to hedge it, Minner Minner in the first round is like plus 800, something like that, something crazy like that. But I should be good with that parlay there. All right. As for DraftKings, Holland at 9,100. He's going to have some ownership. A lot of people like Holland. A lot of people think he's fantastic on DraftKings. And he has been. I think he scored like 107 and 106 in the past 2 fights. I just don't see him finishing Stewart by a knockout. Stewart's very tough, never been knocked out. He could, but I just don't see it. So I think it's most likely going to go to decision unless Holland does go for takedowns and get a submission, which I don't really see. So probably going to be lower owned on Holland. I'd rather play Bueno Silva, honestly. I know as crazy as that sounds, I'd rather play Chimaev. I'd rather play Colby Covington. I'd rather play Laramie. And Holland's going to be higher owned than Bueno Silva, and Holland's going to be higher owned than Laramie. So I'm going to, get a little different there, I guess, by not playing as much Holland. I'll still have some. Don't get me wrong, but I'm going to have other guys a little bit more. Everybody made weight. Yes. 2-leg parlays in MMA is the way to go. I've been very, very successful with my 2-leggers. Usually if you do like a 5 or 6-leg, 7-leg parlay, they don't hit. There's always that one guy. There's always something that happens to ruin that. All right, Colby and Chimaev parlay. That's probably going to be the popular parlay of the week. I was thinking about it, but I'll talk about it in a little bit. Chimaev is overrated. He gets humbled in this fight. Holland is due for a loss. He could be, but I don't know if this is the spot. I don't know. I don't know if Stewart's the right type of fighter to beat a guy like Holland. I just put 600 on Chimaev. Good luck to you there. We'll talk about it in a little bit, but Borella looked good. Yeah. She looked fine. Looking back at Borella, she won the first fight, fought competitive against Chikagan, and beat Ty Santos, who destroyed Molly McCann. Her form maybe dirtied up, using a horse racing reference. Yeah, I guess in an interview, she talked about this. Ty Santos talked about how she was very, 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 very nervous. It was the first fight in the UFC, and Santos looked like a completely different fighter. So I don't take that win all into that much consideration. But yeah, I mean, if you guys want to take a shot on Borella, I don't hate it because she is an underdog and it is women's MMA, and a lot of these underdogs have been winning, but I don't know if I like the spot for it. All right, so like I said, I have Holland in a parlay with Laramie, and that's my second bet of the night, along with Andre Ewell. All right. So getting into the next fight, and we are at 45 minutes, so we got to kind of speed it up here. I want to aim for about an hour and 10. And we have Mackenzie Dern versus Randa Markos. And I've gotten a lot of hate for this pick. A lot of people like Dern, including myself. I'm a big Dern fan. I like her a lot. I've won a lot of money off of her. And, nobody really likes Markos. Like, Dern's the more better looking fighter. Dern's the more marketable fighter. Markos is someone who trades wins and losses, not the most exciting fighter by any means. But before going into tape, I was really looking hard at betting Dern at minus 150, it was like, which was very intriguing to me because I know a little bit about Dern. I know a little bit about Markos. And after watching the tape, I did a complete 360 or complete 180. And I'm now on Randa Markos. And I know I'm getting a lot of hate because nobody likes Markos. Everybody likes Mackenzie Dern, fan favorite, all that. I get it. But this is a tough matchup to call. It really is. This fight is very close. If Dern does not get it to the ground, it could be very close. I think Markos is the better striker. I'm not all that in love with Dern striking. She has some decent power. I think the striking could be close, but I got to slightly edge it to Markos. And the thing about Dern is her wrestling is awful. It is awful. 7% takedown accuracy. So a lot of people are saying, Dern, easy submission. Dern, easy sub. How does she get it to the ground? I don't know. I don't see it. So I'm not betting this fight. I'm not betting it, although I'm very tempted, as crazy as it sounds, to take a bet on Markos, but I'm not. I'm going to stay away. I'm going to sit back and watch. A lot of people are going the other way. It's the most unpopular pick for me of the week, I believe. And I just find it hard seeing Dern get this fight to the ground. Markos has pretty solid takedown defense, pretty solid wrestling herself. And I was watching an interview with Markos, and this was before I even picked Markos. I saw the interview, and she said, she was asked, are you going to test your BJJ against Mackenzie Dern? And she said, no, she's not. She tends to, if an opponent has a strength, she tends to, take that strength away. And my confidence built a little bit, but Dern is the better fighter. She is, the more marketable fighter. She has, the better upside, but I don't like this matchup for her. I really don't. So a lot of people are probably going to bet her. I would just beware a little bit. If she does not get this fight to the mat, you're going to be sweating the whole time. And honestly, I don't really see it touching the mat unless Markos makes a big mistake. Because Dern was barely able to take down Hannah Cifers. She didn't even get credited for the takedown. Something, I don't even know how to explain it, but Cifers ended up on her back. And we all know Cifers is not the best fighter in the world. And so give me Markos. Give me Markos in a very close decision. If Markos, threw more volume, did more on the feet, I'd probably bet her here, but she doesn't. So it's going to be probably low volume from Markos' side. So for that reason, I'm going to stay away. But I think she gets it done, a split decision. So give me Markos. What's up, Shake? Better late than never. Dern won't be able to get a takedown. She'll get tired. Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see the wrestling. I don't see what everybody else sees. But a lot of people think that it's going to be an easy takedown, an easy submission. But even then, Markos is no slouch on the mat. I know she's been submitted twice, but still, I saw the interview. She seemed nervous and not convincing. I mean, she seemed fine to me, but I'll have to take a look at that again. Markos is physically strong. Not going to be easy to take down exactly. Dern only has zombie takedowns. Unless she pulls guard, it'll be standing. Yeah, and I don't know if maybe Markos is smart enough to not, play the game of Dern and go down to the mat. Hello, she didn't get credit for the takedown. No, she didn't. Something weird happened. I don't know how to explain it. Cifers fell or something, or she tried going for something. It was weird, but had Markos in a DK pump play. So on DraftKings, a lot of people are going to play Dern. A lot of people like her. A lot of people think first round submission, easy money. So I'm probably going to, be lower owned on Dern. I think it's possible she finds a submission, but not all that likely. So maybe a little bit of Dern. Markos at 7,500, I think, is a decent play, maybe a decent play in cash, because I do see this going to decision. Fight goes to decision is like minus 130. I don't hate that. But enough of this fight. Not all that interested either way. Johnny Walker, Ryan Spann, and a very tough fight to call because Ryan Spann has a ton of path to victory here, and that is getting a knockout. Walker's been knocked out 3 times. That is getting a submission. Ryan has a very good submission game. We'll take a look at the finish stats here. Walker, 94 finish rate, 82% by KO, 12% by submission. Ryan Spann, 83% finish rate. And minus 310, fight doesn't go to decision. It's something I'm kind of eyeing here in a potential parlay. I think it'll be in my Hail Mary parlay for sure, but Walker's been to decision, I believe, like 2 times. And his last fight went to decision, as did Spann's, oddly enough. But these guys, don't have the style to really, they really think is going to go to decision here. Walker's going to come out here and try to get that early KO, and I think he does actually. Spann, watching tape on him, was not all that impressed. Pretty slow. Walker's going to have the big speed advantage, and for that reason, I am going to pick Walker. But the paths to victory for Spann are there, so I'm not going to bet it from either side. What I'm looking at is the minus 310. Fight doesn't go to decision in a potential parlay piece in like a Hail Mary. The under 1.5 is, I want to say, like plus 100 even money. That's not a bad look, because Walker typically does not leave that first round. You can say that a lot of the same thing for Spann. A lot of Spann's fights do not go to the distance. But give me Johnny Walker being the more explosive fighter, being the faster fighter, being most likely the more dangerous fighter. Spann's dangerous, but Walker's the more dangerous on the feet. Spann does hit hard, but if Spann comes out here and gets takedowns, the path to victory is there. That's why I think the line is so close, and also because you really can't trust Johnny Walker at this point. So on DraftKings, this is one of those fights where I'm going to be playing both sides. Hard to take a stand on either side here. Not confident in either side. Not confident in Walker. But on DraftKings, I want to have both sides. So going to have a ton of exposure on this fight from a DraftKings perspective, especially in the smaller cage. These guys are going to go at it. I do not see this going to a decision. But the lean is Walker slightly. I like Spann. His style slow, and not great, but he drops dudes. So there's something here. Yeah, he's very live. Very live. Walker weighed in early. Yeah, Walker looked pretty solid. I have both sides on DraftKings too. Very smart. Walker still, I think, is a round one or bust, at least from the last few fights of his. I'd say so, but Spann doesn't have the best cardio himself, but I definitely give Spann the cardio advantage. All right, moving on here. We're about 52 minutes. We have 250 people in the chat. Thank you all so much for hanging out on a Friday evening. If you guys can hit that like button, would really appreciate that a ton. Let's try to get it to 100 likes by the time this is over. Would mean a ton there. So hit that like button. Would be sweet to get 100. So 3 fights left, and probably 3 of the more exciting fights on the card. Chimaev, Mirsad. Chimaev is minus 370, and Mirsad is plus 330. So Mirsad opened up at a big underdog, and Chimaev opened up at like minus 500. And I don't know. I kind of changed my opinion on this throughout the fight. I thought this was an easy smash spot for Chimaev, and I still think he wins. But just hearing some of the stuff he's been saying, he said he's going to go out there and submit Mirsad, and that's Mirsad's one path to victory is if Chimaev rolls around on the ground with him, tries to submit him. That's Mirsad's one path to victory. What Chimaev would need to do would either be maybe keep this standing or get a takedown, stay safe on top, try to land some ground and pound, not go out there and try to find a submission. That's how you're going to potentially lose, because that's Mirsad's one path to victory. Mirsad is a very good grappler. Mirsad has lost by submission 3 times, though. Only once since 2013 by Jack Hermanson. No shame in that, but man, I got Chimaev here. I'm just a little bit iffy about it. He has not fought anybody, and I thought I was going to be a lot higher on him by now at this point in the week, but just hearing some of the things he's saying, I'm not liking, the overconfidence. We've seen a lot of times where these guys are overconfident, Sean O'Malley, and they go in here and they lose. So I'm kind of iffy about it. I'm not going to put Chimaev in a parlay. I'll put him in a Hail Mary, but I'm not going to put him in a parlay as an official play. But he should get the win. He should get the ground and pound victory, minus 200 inside the distance for Chimaev. It's a fair price because if he wins, it's probably going to be by a finish there. But I don't know. I have a iffy feeling about it. I have a very iffy feeling about it. Mirsad by sub is plus 600. That's probably his path to victory. Don't see any other way. I see some people taking shots on Mirsad. I've seen a lot of people taking early shots on Mirsad as well because of the experience, because the line was off. And I don't know. It's he should win the fight. It's just very untested. So 9,400 on DraftKings. I'm going to have a decent amount. I'm going to have a very solid amount of Chimaev. I like another play a little bit better we'll talk about in a little bit, and that's Colby Covington. But Chimaev, I'm going to have a very decent amount on DraftKings because of the upside. And I'm actually someone who's high on Mirsad. I'm usually high on this guy. I just don't like the matchup for him, but I'm not going to completely count him out here. I think the path to victory is there. I don't like the overconfidence in Chimaev. We saw it plenty of times before. These young guys coming in here overconfident. Johnny Walker, Sean O'Malley. I can name a ton more, and they get that first loss. So, and like I said, I'm not going to bet it as an official play, but in my Hail Mary's fine. I see a lot of people parlaying Chimaev. I think you'll be fine. Mirsad at 6,800 on DraftKings for a nice punt. I don't hate it. He has like a crazy finish rate, I believe. I think it's like 93%. And Chimaev has a 100% finish rate. So maybe this is something you can parlay as well. The fight doesn't go to decision line, minus 365 is interesting. But give me Chimaev, but not as confident as I'd like to be in that Chimaev play. Thank you for the donation, Andy. Really appreciate that a ton. Chimaev compared to Gerald to Artem Lobov, he is wrong. Yeah, Chimaev was saying a lot of crazy things, like he's going to come out there and submit Mirsad. He's going to take his black belt or something like that. He's going to make Mirsad retire. Man, I don't know. If he gets the ground and pound, he'll try to finish with a sub before the ref calls a TKO. Yeah, I was thinking that. I was thinking about taking the Chimaev by knockout plus 160. I don't see him submitting Mirsad, but if he wants to make a statement and submit Mirsad, maybe he tries extra hard for that submission. Chimaev smash. Yes, he's going to most likely smash here, but what are you going to do now that 5 dimes is done? I'm going to just bet on the DraftKings Sportbook. I've been, exploring other books, Bovada, Bet Online, but that really sucks. 5 dimes was my go-to book. I've been on Mirsad early with $100. Don't hate it. Don't hate the shot. I was giving people crap about it earlier in the week for taking a shot on Mirsad, but I can't hate you for it. He has like 3 times, 4 times the fight, something like that of Chimaev there. Anybody look bad at weigh-ins? Not really. I mean, Alpar looked a little bit, she didn't look great, but other than that, everybody looked fine to me. Hope GM3 wins. A lot of people are rooting for GM3. Not thinking first round KO anymore. Mm-hmm. I think if he does win, it's probably a first round knockout, but I'm not going to bet it, if that makes sense. This kind of reminds me of the Muniz Fabinski. Shout out Muniz for that awesome sub. Chimaev going to lay on top of him and leave it open for a sub. Yeah. But I don't know. I think Chimaev is a little bit too explosive, a little bit too powerful. He is a blue belt in BJJ compared to Mirsad is a black belt, very experienced black belt. So I don't know. Colby looks way better than Woodley. We'll talk about that soon there. Spann not looking too hot today. Barely made the weigh-ins. Yeah, he did. You're right. You're right about that. TJ is a lock. Nothing is a lock in MMA. We learned that from the Agapoa fight a couple weeks ago, something that still has a bad taste in my mouth. So getting into the co-main event here, we're almost to an hour. So kind of right on time here. Nico Price versus Donald Cerrone. Before getting into any tape, anything, I wanted to take a shot on Cerrone. I was, very confused why he was the underdog. Very weird seeing Nico Price as a favorite, honestly. But Cerrone is someone who I think I heard on Twitter, like he has been an underdog in like his last 9 fights, which is very interesting there. But it's hard to pick Cerrone in this matchup. I know he's been losing to great guys, Conor McGregor, Tony Ferguson, Justin Gaethje, Anthony Pettis. I thought he won that fight against Pettis as well. Maybe some bias in that because I did pick him to win, but I don't know. I don't usually pick Nico Price to win fights. I think this is, one of the few times I have picked him. I've picked him a handful of times in the UFC, and it's because he gets outstruck in all of his fights, mostly. He's losing the fight up until he wins. Not the best ground game in the world, although it has improved. And in this fight, I just think, since Cerrone is a slow starter and the chin's not there, the durability is not there, he's getting up there in age, he's getting up there in fight years as well, tons of fights on his record. And Nico Price is going to start fast. He's going to try to get that first round finish, and I don't like that stylistic matchup for a guy like Cowboy Cerrone. So I'm going to go Price here, although I do think Cerrone's the better fighter everywhere on paper. I think if he comes in here and gets takedowns, he can work a submission game, very good submission game. Cerrone does have. Cerrone by submission plus 450. That's a potential path to victory there. But Nico Price by KO plus 120. Nico Price inside the distance plus 110. I'll be honest, guys, I'm looking hard at this Nico Price inside the distance prop. And I'm very high on Cowboy. He's probably one of my favorite fighters in the UFC, but you got to look past the bias here, and I think he's on his way out. I think it's safe to say. And I was trying to look past the recency bias of Cerrone losing to great guys, but in this matchup, I'm not loving it. So give me Nico Price. Give me him on DraftKings. Potential bet. Don't know yet. It's kind of hard to lay the minus 150 on a guy like Price because he most likely is going to be losing the fight up until he catches Cerrone. But the plus 110 inside the distance is something I'm looking pretty hard at. I don't know if I'm going to bet it yet. I might just stay away. This could be a stay away fight because Cerrone is definitely live. Cerrone is the better fighter, and I don't like betting against the better fighter in the matchup. But it's a good matchup for Price, I believe. So give me Price on DraftKings, 8,500. Cerrone, 7,700 on DraftKings, I think is fine as well. It's a fight I do want to target quite a bit. And Nico Price did look very improved in that Luque fight quite a bit. He landed like 120 significant strikes, which is very impressive. So give me Nico Price, kind of hesitant on it as well. Cerrone just collecting checks. Yeah. I have Cowboy by finish and Tyron by finish. And don't you have Mirsad by finish as well, I thought you said? Does Nico go 2 decisions? No, he does not. Price, I want to say, we'll take a look here. I think he's never went to a decision, maybe one time. I want to say one time, yeah. He's been to decision one time in his career. So, man, the fight doesn't go to a decision prop at minus 305 could be a potential parlay piece. Don't hate that. Cerrone's definitely live. One head kick and it's done. Very true. And, Price isn't the most durable guy himself. Cerrone is after the money at the stage, but it's worth for him and his family. He will earn about $100,000. Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough fight to Mystic gonna lose money. I'm going the other way on Mystic here, but yeah. Do you think there's a comparison to be made with Chimaev, Mirsad, Shabazian, and Brunson? Yeah, that sounds about right to me. In a way. What's up, Jordan? Yeah, I'll be sweating that the whole time if I was to bet Cowboy. I would be sweating it the whole time because one shot, and Price is going to bring it. This is going to be a firefight. Can you trust Cowboy in a firefight in that first round where he starts slow and Price is going to start fast? I don't know. So give me Price there. I'm very tempted in betting it. I don't know. We'll have to see. Tune into the betting breakdown video tomorrow. Tune into my social media as well. Main event time, and this is my final bet of the evening for you guys that I want to talk about now. Of course, I'm going to be adding like 2 or 3 spots. This is going to be a big card for me. I see a lot of spots I like, but I have Colby Covington, and I bet him by decision at minus 150. And I see a lot of people saying that Colby's going to finish Tyron Woodley by strikes, and I don't really see that. He's not really a finisher. I'll take a look at the finish stats. And Colby has a 47% finish rate. He's not going to submit Tyron Woodley. No way. Unless Woodley's like extremely gassed out of this world. Woodley is a black belt, very good submission defense himself, never been submitted. And Colby Covington has 1 knockout on his record. So I don't see like this narrative that Colby's going to knock out Woodley. I don't get it. 7% finish rate by knockout, and he's fought a lot lesser guys than Woodley. And Woodley's really tough. He was able to get dropped by Burns and survive. Covington doesn't have that power. He's someone who puts it on you with pace. He breaks you with pace. He's not going to one-shot knockout you. knock you out. Unless like he really goes after it and the ref steps in and stops it for some reason. But I really like Covington by decision, 7% knockout rate. So that's how I bet it there. I don't hate Covington in a parlay. He's going to be my Hail Mary. He might be in a different parlay I add sometime tonight. The thing about Woodley is he is knockout or bust. He puts on a awful pace, lands like 2-something strikes per minute, and Covington does the complete opposite. Covington is probably going to outland him 3-1 or even 4-1 in this fight. As long as Covington does not get knocked out, and Covington's very durable. He's been knocked out once by Kamaru Usman, and kind of a questionable stoppage. I didn't complain though, although I did have Covington, but he did get knocked out by Kamaru Usman nonetheless. And Woodley's extremely live, especially in that first round. If you want to bet Woodley, I'd recommend betting him by knockout plus 450. Would not bet that plus 280 because he's not going to win by decision. Maybe he wins by submission. Just don't think that's all that likely. But plus 450 is where I would go personally. If I was to bet Woodley, I'd probably bet him in that first round because after the first round, he's probably going to slow down quite a bit. And the thing about Woodley, he fights slow the whole fight. He doesn't throw much. He doesn't do much. So Covington's probably going to force some action here, especially in the smaller cage, which is a little bit concerning. But a lot of people think that Covington's going to come out here and fight the same game plan he did with Kamaru Usman, and that's not going to happen whatsoever. He's not going to stand and bang there with Tyron Woodley for 5 rounds. He's going to grind him up against the cage. He's going to take him down. Yes, he's going to take down Woodley. I know Woodley has a 90% takedown defense. I don't think he's fought the best wrestlers, and when he has, he's been taken down by Kamaru Usman. He was taken down by Burns. So give me Covington here pretty confidently outside of a fluke. I don't want to say a fluke knockout, but outside of a knockout by Tyron Woodley. So Covington by decision is my play. I have 1.5 units on the minus 150. I don't see a knockout. I don't see what everybody else is saying here. I mean, maybe he can finish him late, but a 7% finish rate by knockout, I don't see it. Woodley's very tough. He is very, very tough. He's been knocked out once a while ago. So give me Covington by decision here, and I like it quite a bit. As for DraftKings, it's going to be probably my highest owned play on DraftKings. He's someone who can go out there and score 170 points, 160 points, 150 points. I think the floor is like 130 for Covington here. So somebody I'm going to have like 70% of, but I will have some Woodley because of that chance of a knockout. You like stacking cash? It's tough because Woodley's not going to do much. But since I do think this is going to go to decision, I think it could be kind of viable this week. But Woodley is somebody I typically wouldn't stack in cash. But 6,900, I think it's something I will be looking at. Did you say fluke? Yeah, in a way. In a way, I'd say it would be a fluke, but no, not really. It wouldn't be a fluke, but he'd have to knock him out to beat him there. Told y'all Laramie Covington parlay. I don't hate that. I went Laramie and Holland for a little bit better price, but I don't hate a Covington parlay. I don't. 3 wagers on Covington, even though I hate him and I hope he gets knocked out. Fair enough. 4 nut shots tomorrow. I'll take the over on that. There has been a lot of nut shots lately. Woodley submitted Darren Till. I think the submission is live. It could be, and Covington does leave some openings. I just don't think it's all that likely. Thank you for the donation, Bernie. Any long props this week? I bet your breakdowns full slip in comments and it came up plus 41 units, including a plus 800 sub and plus 900 round 3 call for you. So you have been listening to my betting breakdown video on Saturday. I wish I've been listening to that myself because, yeah, the Quarantine round 3 prop hit. I really like that. And there were some other things as well that were, crazy odds. Jalen Turner by submission was a crazy odd as well. So, yeah, let's see. I'll talk about it on the betting breakdown for sure. There is some long shot props I will talk about. I'll talk about the best bets. So make sure you tune into that betting breakdown. I'll definitely go over that. Tyron, the chosen one, Woodley, maybe a couple years ago. If this was in 2016, I'd take Woodley, especially for that takedown defense at 90%. Looks good on paper, but man, I don't know. Covington, give me Covington. Covington is a bad boy. Yeah, he's a great fighter. I like him as a fighter a lot. DFS makes us good money. Donate and get good karma. Appreciate that, Scott. Appreciate the donation, Harry. Appreciate that a bunch. Woodley doesn't like to take damage. No, he doesn't. But all right, so as always, we're going to go over my most confident picks and my bets, and then some potential underdogs, mostly from a DraftKings perspective. So most confident picks, Covington. Maiev, in a way, I think I'm confident in him, but I'm just a little iffy. And like in the back of my head, like I'm a little iffy. These prospects have not been getting busted lately. So Chimaev, I am confident in, though, in a way. Kevin Holland, as confident as I can be in Kevin Holland. Mirsad Bektic, like I said, I need to look into that fight, tune into the betting breakdown video. I'm assuming I'm going to pick him. Big favorite here. Bueno Silva, as confident as one can be in a women's MMA fight. I'm confident in her. And other than that, Andre Ewell, pretty confident in that. TJ Laramie, confident in it outside of a first-round submission by Minner. And then other than that, that's about it. And then my bets, just to touch on it, I have 3, but I will be adding more. So it's very important, you guys. Check out that betting breakdown video. It's very important. You guys follow me on Twitter, Instagram. And that is Laramie and Ewell. No, Laramie and who was it? Laramie and Holland. Laramie and Holland in a parlay. 2.2 units. I got it at like minus 117. And then Ewell straight, minus 185. And I don't know what you guys want to do with this. I don't know if you want to bet it straight at minus 220. I would personally, I would bet it straight all the way up to like minus 230. So I still think you could bet this straight, but he is parlayable. He's parlayable to me. So, and then the final bet is Colby by decision minus 150. It's now minus 155. I think if he does win, it's going to be by decision. So those are my 3 bets. Underdogs, I'm targeting on DraftKings. Woodley as a punt play. He does have that power. Donald Cerrone, I think he's the better fighter. And Nico Price is chinny himself. Has been knocked out 3 times. Mirsad may be a fine punt play. Ryan Spann is a decent underdog on DraftKings. Randa Markos is very interesting. I think she has a decent shot to win this. Don't know how much she'll score, but I think the win opportunity is there. Other than that, Espinosa, if you want to count him as a dog, 8,000, I think he's very live. Sarah Alpar, I think, is live. Don't know if I played on DraftKings, though. She has takedown upside. I guess I'd maybe play a couple lines with that. Randy Costa, probably my favorite underdog on the card from a ceiling perspective. I think he has a lot of upside. Other than that, Minner as a pump play is fine as well. Jerome Rivera is fine. I think he could outland Nam. If Rivera doesn't get knocked out, he has a good chance of winning. So that's about it with that. If you guys have any questions for the next 5 minutes, I'll answer any questions. Thank you all so much for hanging out. 270 people. I think we got close to almost 300 tonight. Very good card here. Really looking forward to it. Colby wins by patriotism. Good luck to you as well, Gaming Wolf. It should be a fun fight card, especially on DraftKings. Lots of betting opportunities as well. Really looking forward to getting to it. All right. Alpar looked crappy. Yeah, she didn't look great. Baeza fight is off. I think someone, I don't know what happened. I think there's an injury on maybe the Baeza side. I'm not sure. Good luck to you, Andy. Appreciate it, Anrad. Thanks for hanging out, Lee. Thank you, 3 guys, 1 puck. Appreciate that a bunch. Thank you, Spencer. Thank you, Sports Dude. If you guys have not yet, you can sign up on my Patreon. I put a new betting tier out there. A lot of you guys have signed up. I think we have 35 new members on there. 150 in total on Patreon. I'm going to be putting out a betting article sometime tonight. I put out betting content throughout the week. If you guys want this sheet you see here, $10 a month. I try to make it very cheap for you guys, $2.50 per week. So if your unit size is anything above like $5, I think it's definitely worth it to hop on. Just this sheet alone is worth it itself. It's great to see the stats for all the fighters. It's great to see all the odds, all that stuff. Odds HQ today, yes, I'm going on there at 9, so don't have much time to get something to eat. I wanted some Roadhouse. I was craving some Roadhouse tonight, so maybe after if I have time. Derrick Stewart by decision. Yeah, it's possible. Thank you for hanging out. Scott, happy birthday, Heather. Happy birthday. Nicholas, I am late. What's your favorite look on this card? I got Walker and Chimaev parlayed. My favorite look is probably Ewell. I like Ewell a lot. I like that line. I like the line at minus 185. I still think minus 220 is playable. And a couple parlays I'm looking at as well. But I will be adding a lot more plays. I know you're on Costa, but do you think Newson by sub 600? Yeah, that's something I talked about earlier. I think Newson by sub, it could be a nice play there. Let's get it again this week, my man. Can't wait for next weekend, though. Yeah, next weekend's going to be awesome. Early prediction for Costa and Adesanya. Give me Costa. Give me Costa as an early prediction. I still have to look into it a ton, though. That's about all I got for you guys. Had a fantastic week. Last week went 2 for 2 in my bets. Almost 4 units profited on the night. And hopefully bring it into this card here because I'm going to have a lot of action. Make sure you guys follow me on Twitter, DFS_numbers, Instagram, DFS by the numbers. Make sure you guys give this video a like. Subscribe if you have not yet. Working my way up to 7,000 subs would be awesome to get there in the near future. Maybe even after next week's card, we can get to 7,000 subs. So thank you guys for hanging out. Like I said, almost 300 people in the chat. Appreciate it a ton. And good luck this weekend, guys. Great card to, have a decent amount of plays and have a decent amount on DraftKings as well. Good luck, guys.